Hello, I'm Binzer Flynn, and welcome to the Flinncast. So I did hear earlier, I couldn't reply right away, but yes, I did mean the Westworld trailer. Did anyone else actually see that? And it looks...
I'm going to go watch that Transformers one right now, because I saw a still shot of it, but I haven't actually seen the trailer.
Oh yeah, I actually meant to reply to you when you posted it on my wall car mine, but I just got distracted. But it looked really good.
Yeah, I figured if anybody'd like it, it'd be you.
I love that stuff, that old War Within timeline, pre-Earth stuff. Like the humans in Transformers is always the worst part. So when they just stick to Cybertron, I love it.
Yeah, that's what made the beginning of Bumblebee so great. It was like, oh my god, we get to see Cybertron. We get to see the Generation 1 Transformers as they should have looked.
Exactly.
That reminds me, I still haven't watched that movie.
Just watch the first minute.
Wow.
I didn't watch the last minute.
It was on Merida and I's go see it on a Tuesday list, and then it just never happened for some reason. She wasn't super keen on it.
It is, of all the Transformer movies, it is the strongest, and it's sort of what you'd expect. Bumblebee lost on Earth and bumbling around and stuff, but they introduce a couple really cool Decepticon adversaries who aren't old ones like that we know. They're new guys, Dropkick and Shatter, but it's really well done. Like the whole movie's really good.
I would point out, new Transformers is a Netflix series doubling down on my Netflix buying properties from the 80s to make all you Gen Xers feel good about your lives.
I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Damn straight, I finally should start catering us.
My two complaints about the Transformer trailer, though. One, it doesn't sound like they have Peter Cullen doing Optimus Prime, but okay,
They don't. I checked the cast listing. They do not, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, we'll have to give a new guy a chance, I guess. I will miss that. And the second part, why does Megatron's armor have rips in it? Megatron is supposed to have the most impenetrable armor of any Cybertronian. Like, I can't stand it.
Yeah, that bothered me as well.
It's like, you don't damage Megatron, he damages you.
Well, there must be some reason for it, which I'm sure they will explain when they do the series.
Maybe he hasn't gotten his Achilles treatment yet.
Speaking of the 80s Netflix series, I heard just earlier tonight voice acting sample of Mark Hamill and Lena Headey for Evelyn and Skeletor. And Lena Headey sounds amazing, of course. And Mark Hamill sounds really good, but they put it against 80s animation. So while Mark Hamill, it doesn't sound like Joker. It's good. It's original. But I just missed a nah.
Yeah, you kind of need that, eh?
Well, they do need. Well, it is being updated for a modern audience. I mean, when they did Voltron, it wasn't set specifically on one planet all the time, so there's going to be different.
And maybe we'll get. It's only a sample so far, right? So maybe we'll get one or two.
Yeah, maybe. I hope so. Like, those little Easter eggs, those are for us Gen Xers.
I would be very amused if we got a once in a while.
Speaking of Easter eggs for Gen Xers, I went to see the Sonic movie.
Oh yeah, how was it?
Go. We got a review.
Yeah, it was a good movie. It was, I went in expecting to see Sonic look like Sonic, and I got that. And then there was just a whole bunch of nods to the game, silly little things that were just like, that's cool. They added that. So it's not, no spoilers, but he falls down on the ground one point in time, and he has a bag of rings, and the rings go beep. It's like, yeah, I know what that's from.
Okay, that's pretty good.
And that, solid movie, entertaining, character development. Buddy I went with, he's not a professional movie critic, but he criticizes movies all the time. He's like, that one movie had more character development than the last 3 Star Wars movies.
Wow.
I heard Jim Carrey was really good in it, though.
Yeah, it was kind of like he wasn't playing Ace Ventura, but it was like, oh yeah, it's like the old Jim Carrey where he's just wacky kind of thing sometimes. No, his character was pretty cool. I liked Eggman.
That's cool. I'm glad they changed it and people are digging it.
This week's episode was really good. I really liked it. Lots of Jerry Ryan. Lots of Marina Sirtis lookalike.
Yeah, that confused me. I was like, oh my God, is that Deanna Troy?
I looked at her and said, what the hell? Did they find a twin?
That was pretty spooky. Like that, me and Raina said the same thing. It was weird.
And how about the freaking name? Vajazel or whatever the hell it was. Like, why not just say Vajayjay and get it over with?
Oh, God.
Every time they said her name, I couldn't think of anything else. It's like, what the fuck?
The Icheb scene made me sad.
That was a brutal opening. Like, that was fucking full on.
That was, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it opened up and there goes Icheb. Spoilers. We see another Voyager character event briefly. Yeah, having his eye removed, that was a little jolting.
I had to tell Michelle, look away. Don't come into the room at the moment.
It was pretty
Wait until
brutal.
I tell you it's okay.
We see that Icheb was a Starfleet officer, and I was trying to see his rank pips, and I saw 2, so he was at least a lieutenant.
Yeah, that would make sense. I mean, 15 years or so since Voyager, something like that. He would have gone through 4 years of fleet and then progressed in ranks. And, I'm going to assume he probably hasn't gotten a bigger rank simply because I bet you there's still some prejudice against ex-Borg and Starfleet. So my guess is that he may not have been as high a rank because he was being held down for that.
That's an interesting theory. I didn't even think of that.
With the Starfleet that they're espousing the last half dozen episodes, I would not put it past them in the slightest.
Can you imagine getting the call to the actors? All right, we want you to be in Picard. Here's the scene you're going to be in. Fuck.
Yeah.
You're going to get carved like a Christmas turkey. Also, I wonder what the black market for Borg parts are.
Well,
cyber enhancements.
There you go. For one, plug them in the ships illegally and enhance them. I mean, I'm sure there's lots of different ways people could use Borg parts.
I mean, I guess, but like other than like maybe Geordi, we really don't see a lot of people with regular cybernetics, other than the chick from Discovery whose name escapes me, but she's the helmsman, I think.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. There's other stuff like Picard's heart and stuff, but yeah, no real overt cybernetic parts.
Doesn't mean it doesn't happen. I mean, it sounded like all these parts they were looking for were all internal, so you probably wouldn't see an overt part like 7 and 9 has with her eyebrow socket and her hand. And even Icheb, when you saw him on the table, I hardly saw any mods where his Borg parts used to be. So either Borg in this day that want to integrate are doing their best to cosmetically cover them up, or you're like 7 who just doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, 7 also had more expressions. Like she was more human in a way, I guess. Instead of the very rigid way of standing and speaking, she was, I don't know, I just found it's like, oh, she's very more relaxed, or has been a human longer now, or has been away from the collective long enough now that some of it's starting to seep in.
And I liked that she basically came back to the Alpha Quadrant and said, fuck you, Starfleet. I'm going to go do my own thing.
So in the scene where Icheb is getting cut up, I don't remember this from Voyager. Someone on Reddit said it, that when the doctor says, where's your cortical node, kid? Apparently that part is in 7? Anyone remember that?
Yes, so there is a couple episodes in Deep Space Nine, in Voyager, where I believe 7 of 9's cortical node gets damage of some shape, sort of variety, and where she's a fully grown adult, she is reliant on whatever that piece of tech does. But with Icheb, where he's still a child or a teenager, whatever, he is not fully dependent on that, and they were able to successfully extract his and put it into 7 to save her life, I believe.
Okay, there you go.
That sounds like a Voyager episode.
So that was kind of a nice little nod to an old story, why they couldn't find it in them.
I just love the way the doctors or whoever was carving up were just totally nonchalant about it.
Yeah, he's a machine. Who cares, right?
That's how they see them, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
but
with
it just freaked me out a bit too.
Oh, she kind of cared
I mean-
when Seven walked in.
if you're an underground Borg part smuggler, and he clearly was not the first Borg that they had carved apart, right? So they're probably, bad people, and therefore don't really care.
Yeah, Seven, I kind of want to find out more about these Fenris Rangers. That almost sounds like a good show on its own.
They may have been setting it up for it.
Yeah, they seem to just be a group of quote-unquote vigilantes who basically police the neutral zone now that the neutral zone doesn't really exist anymore.
So basically, an up and up version of the Maquis.
Without the war on the Cardassians part, sure.
But yeah, in so much that it's seems to be an independent force that doesn't answer to anybody really, and that never even occurred to me with all this Romulus stuff. But it's pretty obvious. But yeah, like the neutral zone collapse. Like the neutral zone used to be such a thing, right? Now it's just nope.
Chunk of space.
We got to learn some interesting information. They had a lot of stuff about the doctor. What's her name?
I was talking to Meredith before the episode started. I'm like, she's totally a spy. And lo and behold, she's a spy.
Yeah, very deep down inside, I should have figured it out, especially after the Vulcan security Commodore went to talk to her. But that last 5 minutes when she just started looking really guilty when Picard was telling the Maddox, I was figuring, yeah, okay, she's gonna kill him. She's gonna do something to him, but she's not who she is now. So
I'm curious how she's going to get away with that. You would think an EMH would not be able to be turned off when there's a medical emergency going on.
Yeah, that bothered me as well. It's like there should be a default where if somebody's dying, that the EMH cannot be turned off until that's resolved or stabilized.
And surely there's sensor logs too that, suddenly, oh no, he's doing the thing, and then you turn the hologram off.
it would not surprise me if next episode they find Maddox dead and they go through the visual logs of the sick bay and they see she was the last person to talk to him and something is happening and we're going to get some interpersonal crisis that will be a focus of the episode.
And it was a pretty brazen murder. Like, it's not going to take a lot to figure it out, like you said, the sensor logs and whatever.
She is supposed to be pretty damn smart if she was working on synths. So she probably, I know earlier in the episode, they really played up the fact she couldn't operate a teleporter that well, but I assume she'd find a way of doctoring the information or deleting it.
I like that the transporter controls still were kind of the same. They're still the slideys.
Yeah, that was a nice little nod.
Did anyone notice just before 7 transported down, and they played it for probably a good 5 or 6 seconds, they played the variation of the Voyager theme?
I had not caught that, but I'm also terrible at recognizing music.
Full disclosure, I watched this episode super high, so I actually had to go to Reddit to find stuff that I missed.
So, speaking of sound, of auditory homages, when they were in the sick bay, if you listen in the background, there were original series sounds going on there.
I did not notice that.
It sounded like the Brit. I think it was the Brit. No, it was. There was like sick bay. The sick bay sounds that you would hear, plus the Brit sounds. I couldn't tell which, but they were. When I heard them, they're definitely original series. Nice.
Can you imagine if there really were EMHs going, "What's the nature of your psychiatric emergency?" Like, mine would never turn off.
Oh my god, everywhere.
Like, what's the matter now? I'm just anxious. 5 minutes later, same thing.
Yeah, nothing's changed. Go the fuck away.
So Free Cloud, I guess the Federation version of Las Vegas,
Omega,
Sodom and Gomorrah,
mixed with malware software.
Oh my god, the holo ads.
Oh my god, I was like, oh my god, are we on Blade Runner right now? Jesus Christ.
That was kind of cool. I like that, actually. I'm actually amused, though, that there was blatant... that was really blatant commercialism. I mean, hell, I know the Ferengi. We had our Ferengi version, but this was just like full on ads in your face. You have to actually interact in order to get rid of them. Type of capitalism here.
That's the future.
They are really straying from the whole, we've moved on to a better future thing, aren't they?
Well, I don't know if we're straying from it, but we're just seeing that there's always going to be pockets of sleaze.
That's fair. And I mean, to be honest, the Federation doesn't control everything. So, like, who knows if Free Cloud is even in Federation space?
It seems to be in the neutral zone,
or close to it,
or what was formerly known as the.
That's fair because 7 of 9 does say that they usually stash their money at Free Cloud.
The former neutral zone is international waters now.
Sounds like our kind of place.
or Romulan territory in general. I guess it depends on how much. I guess it's how much influence or the
but
whatever
the pilot
society is left has control.
The captain, Rez, is that his name?
Rios.
A hard time remembering these characters' names. He made a point of saying that, to go to the Romulan section or Romulan zone is going to cost you double.
That's for the cube, though.
Yeah, but that implies Free Cloud is not in the Romulan zone.
Oh, that's fair. That's very fair. Also, this episode, he left the ship, so that clearly dashes that theory we had last time.
Oh, yeah, because, I mean, the EMH is him, right?
Well, every hologram is him, so...
And it might be nothing, but it's just the way the main deck of his ship is set up. It looks like a big holodeck, a big open space.
Well, in a Voyager episode, the Prometheus, the EMH Mark II was wandering around the ship all over the place. So they have the technology to put holo emitters anywhere.
Especially if you only have to maintain one hologram. Like, I remember in Voyager that they were able to use the holo emitters in the med bay for some complex stuff. Like, remember Neelix had his lungs removed or something by the Hirogen? Or, no, not the Hirogen. Yes. Whatever the skin stretchy, organ steely race was in Voyager.
I know what you're talking about, and I know which episode you're talking about. Please continue.
But for the rest of the ship, having a holo emitter like every 10 or 15 meters or whatever their range is, just kind of in the hallways and stuff probably wouldn't be too great a deal, especially when you could have a doctor literally anywhere on the ship in about 5 seconds.
I thought if Rios is in fact a hologram, maybe the reason he fucking hates the hospitality hologram is it takes up too much of his RAM. Bloatware.
That would be amazing.
So he didn't get much real attention in this episode, but Space Legolas, the 2 times he spoke were like, hi, I'm going to be the super naive guy. And I was like, oh boy, this is getting old fast.
Yep.
Yeah.
Really?
Picard with the eye patch.
Oh, God. You know what was funny is he's speaking in that hammy French accent. And I'm like, that's kind of what he should sound like, shouldn't he? He's a Frenchman.
Yeah.
So the next day, Kate Mulgrew, Captain Janeway, posted on Twitter a side-by-side of Picard and the eye patch and her and an eye patch from an episode. And she said, think very carefully before you answer this. Who wore it better?
Oh, is it from her in Orange is the New Black?
I don't think so, because that character doesn't have an eye patch at any point. I've seen all the seasons. It must have been a Voyager episode or something else he's done, but it was her and an eye patch side by side.
Well, Rios in the 70s pimp costume, I think, was the bomb, personally. That was just, especially when Seven says he's not flamboyant enough. Put a feather in his...
Oh, and there's another Easter egg, too. If you listen to the lizard guy reel off Rios' references, he mentions Quark, which I thought was kind of cool.
Oh, I missed that. What did he say about Quark?
Oh, I did, too.
I noticed he said Ferengi. I didn't catch Quark's name, particularly.
Let me go find the line. But anyways, he referenced like a shipment or a job that he did for Quark.
Oh, shit.
So apparently Quark is still...
alive,
doing very well for himself despite his fact his brother being negative, or because of his fact his brother is the Negus.
Okay, so the quote is from about Quark is that Quark serves as a reference for Rios prior to the caper on Stardust City, thanks to whatever Rios did for Quark involving the Breen.
Oh, yeah, I caught the Breen. I didn't catch Quark.
So one of the other things I really liked was Picard and Seven's heart-to-heart about being ex-Borg. Because I really liked Picard's line about, it never goes away or whatever.
Yeah, and that's a really unique connection these two characters share, like from different series. And even when Raffi and Rios are on the bridge, she's like, she's an ex-Borg too, like him. And Rios is like, oh shit, no way. I feel like that Rios pimp costume's that's gonna show up in cosplay sometime.
Oh, if it doesn't, I will be very sad. Picard's is also going to as well. So I mean,
yeah, I could see that.
Oh, here's something I didn't quite realize. I don't think there was any Borg cube plot in this entire episode.
There wasn't.
Oh, we didn't see it.
The side plot was Raffi going and getting the fuck you from her kid.
Yeah, it hurt.
yeah, that was a little that was emotional. I'm also amused though when Rio says, "Now what are we going to do about this stowaway?" Picard just smiles, walks over, says, "Welcome back. Nice to see you." Knew exactly what had happened.
Fuck you.
I am looking up a list of Easter eggs from this episode, and apparently there's a second Quark reference that I didn't catch either. There's apparently a holo ad for Quark's bar in one of the scenes with all the holographic advertisements.
Oh, that's cool. I wonder where it is, if it's still on the old station.
It's interesting that Raffi's son doesn't want anything to do with her because she spent so much time trying to figure out the conspiracy and probably before that trying to help save the Romulans, and then he ends up marrying a Romulan by the looks of it.
It also sounds like she was a serious drug and or alcohol user for a while.
Just slightly.
Well, she was growing her own plants and smoking something on Earth when Picard found her. And it was implied then that she was feeding a habit. Yeah, but to see just how bad of a habit it was, I suppose, was a little more jarring.
She was smoking something a little stronger than the old Shire pipeweed, mate, I think.
Love of the Hobbit's weed has made your mind weak.
This article does actually lend your sound effects straight from the Bones' sickbay in the TOS.
That's what I thought.
I found the Raffi thing kind of interesting. I mean, I know she's not my favorite character by any stretch, but I was trying to figure out why she wanted to go to Free Cloud. I'm like, oh, it's her son, and then her son wants fucking nothing to do with her at all, which I thought was a bit of a punch in the gut.
Yeah, he was cold-blooded.
Just like his mom, apparently.
Oh, I must say that it must be because, well, I mean, she's pretty badass to begin with, but being a badass Fenris Ranger when Seven beamed back down to the planet and just fucking, she's like, hi, blam, blam, and then when people started shooting at her, like, she didn't flinch once. She just kept walking and shooting.
She's like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, and fuck you. Now, IMDb lists her as in a bunch more than 2 episodes, so I'm curious how they will reunite.
I was never that big a 7 and 9 fan back in the day, but I mean, she grew on me, of course, after a while. But now I'm totally a fan.
Are we sure she's going to be back in the show?
According to the internets.
Oh no, she's only listed as 2 episodes now. That's weird. I thought I saw her for 6, but
maybe
I could
they
be
did
wrong.
it to throw you off.
Even so, I wouldn't be surprised if we see her again, even if it's not till season 2.
She is a fan favorite character, so I wouldn't be surprised if she pops back up.
Still waiting for Jonathan Frakes.
Oh my god.
He directed this episode too, so it was also quite good. All right, do we have any more Picard-related things to discuss?
Let's see. Jerry Ryan, badass, Easter eggs, naive space Legolas, Picard, the one. I think we're good.
Oh, there was one thing I wanted to say, and I wish that she had done it. So you know how the Bajazza ladies all like loves Borg parts, etc., etc., etc. Ultimate irony would have been if Seven had a stucker full of nanomachines. I thought that would have been like the most badass fuck yourself moment, but she just shot her instead. So that's cool too.
She vaporized
And not
her.
only shot her, disintegrated them.
No disintegrations.
I didn't think Federation phasers had a disintegrate setting.
Sure they do.
Well, high on 2 phaser rifles, point blank, probably is equivalent.
Is that what is the juice? You have to remind me here. Those Mark IV phasers set to like level 15 or something.
Mark II phasers, highest level you could put. I think it's like 16 levels. Highest level. There was an episode, season 1, where the Federation was being invaded by some creepy arachnids. When they got to the mother arachnid, they basically blew open the guy who was hosting her and then proceeded to vaporize Queen Arachnid. So, yes, those things do have vaporized settings.
Was that referenced in First Contact too, when Lily had the laser gun and had it pointed at Picard? He looked at the setting. I know it was set to kill, but I can't remember if he said disintegrate or not.
I think it was just kill. I don't remember disintegrate on that particular movie.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's been a while. Anyway, let's talk about the Bad Batch.
It was really nice to see this episode finally finished, like, properly. Because the first 4 episodes, I think, of this series are actually things we've already seen before. They've just gone back and actually finished the animation and stuff.
Yeah, so basically Echo's entire storyline is online. I cheated and took a look because I was kind of curious. But they was all unfinished, but they posted it somewhere, I think, after season 6 was done, and they wanted to show what was happening, what they would have done.
Back when they never thought they'd have a chance to finish the story, now they can.
Pretty much, yeah. But the entire time Merida and I are watching it, we're going, okay, Hunter is Vinzer, and then, that guy is definitely Varen or Juice, and then, that guy's definitely Ragnarok, and then we don't really have a tech expert, so we're kind of lost on the tech guy.
You know, when I saw Hunter, all I could think of is that was like a perfect next cosplay for Kevin St. Pierre. He looked like Wolverine.
See, I went Rambo. He looks very Rambo.
He does, yeah, with that redhead paint.
Very. Yep, I agree.
And my favorite thing about all clone episodes of Clone Wars is it's just the one guy talking to himself for 22 minutes in the booth.
It sounded like the original. Looked like the original. Not sure how I feel about it yet, though.
Why is that?
I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Just the way it played off in that first episode. There's something about it. I think they're going to, obviously we're going to be following a storyline, chasing down Echo for the next couple of episodes at least. And we'll probably be dealing with this Bad Batch for a while. I think the one, what's his name? Wrecker?
Yep.
I just think he seemed too goofy. It's like, it's a little too ridiculous.
Yeah, he's definitely, well, they said they're all mutated to have desirable abilities, but yeah, he's definitely, he was not of the normal mold at all.
Yeah.
Also, he picked up a troop carrier somehow.
He tipped it back over. Still impressive feat nonetheless.
I mean, if the Master Chief can flip a warthog, why not?
These guys were more distinctive, but they did remind me of classic Delta Squad, where they had a sniper, you had a tech guy, like Fixer and Sev, and Boss was a lot like Hunter. I'm kind of hoping against hope we actually see more of Delta Squad, because they actually put them in a Clone Wars episode, and I nearly shit myself because the old Republic Commando video game. So when those T visors lit up in the dropship, I was like, oh my god.
The other thing about this episode I found kind of cool is that Fives is an ARC trooper now.
Yeah, ARCs are the baddest ass of the badass.
I also love his Republic logo tattoo across his entire face.
Yeah. I like, and same when the series was going before, I like when Clone Wars does episodes that's actual clone army stuff. Like the Jedi guys were in it for 2 minutes, then they were gone, and it was nothing but a military clone episode, and that's what I like.
Yeah, those are more enjoyable.
I agree.
Do we know, is Ahsoka actually going to be in this season? Do we know?
Yeah, she'll be in the Siege of Mandalore parts.
Right. That's right. We're going to get some Mandalorian stuff.
Yeah, but I think it's the second arc. So we kind of have to get through this Bad Batch arc first, and then I think we get there.
Do we yet know how many episodes are in this season?
I want to say 12.
That takes me back to actually what someone said about the Picard season. That the show is great, but the seasons for everything now are too short.
Yeah, there's 12 episodes of Clone Wars. I agree, but I think it's because that streaming services are putting more production value into a smaller number of episodes. So once upon a time where you had to like spread your budget over a 22, week season of TV shows, is they're spreading more money over less to make the individual episodes better.
And and that makes total sense. And I'm actually really okay with that. Like, if the story's good and you get a lot of cool stuff in it, I'm good with like Mandalorian was only like half hour, 45-minute shows and 10 episodes, but it felt like it was enough. I was happy with it. I mean, of course I want more, but I was satisfied with what we got.
I still want somebody to do a movie cut of the Mandalorian. So like,
that would be good.
It was only 8 episodes at 30 to 40 minutes a piece, so that once you cut out the intro and the credits and any like last time on the Mandalorian, you could probably get it down to a 3.5 hour movie viewing, which makes it really easy to rewatch because you don't need to, you can do that in an evening as opposed to having to take a week to rewatch 20 some odd episodes.
Oh, now I've got to do it. Thanks for the homework, Cry. It's like I don't have enough to do.
Sorry.
Geekdom will thank you.
You just put it online and become famous like that dude that did the
Hobbit cut?
machete cut of the prequels.
That guy. What was his name?
You're right.
The Mandalorian show for Mandalorians, edited by a Mandalorian.
Oh, one thing I did have a chuckle about was that I quipped that the guy who does the narrator for Clone Wars, like the guy at the start of the episodes, apparently his name is Tom Kane, and I pointed out that he sounded particularly like super upbeat and happy, and Merida responded with, "Yeah, because he has a job again."
He's the guy that does Admiral Yularen's voice, isn't he?
Yeah.
I'm on his IMDb page right now, so hang on one sec. But yes, I think you're correct.
I remember Yularen was one of the major Imperial characters on the fucking...
Oh, he's also Yoda. Interesting.
Yularen was one of the cards in the Rebellion game, and he was like one of the Grand Admiral badasses. So like he stays with the Empire.
He apparently plays Admiral Yularen in Clone Wars and Colonel Yularen in Rebels.
That's cool. I missed that somehow.
Yeah. So he does the narrator, he does Yoda, and he does the officer, and like a bunch of like C characters.
I forgot until it started that Clone Wars always starts off with the inspirational quote and the newsreel style announcements. The quotes at the start always make me think of Life of Brian, like do unto others as they do unto you.
What was good about the start of the episode, though, was them establishing, because you got the feeling from all the other episodes is like the Empire's just, or the Republic is just winning. So how is this war going on so long? It's like, setbacks. Okay, it does happen.
I can't remember what the actual question was, but Raina asked me something about the series, and I was explaining how this all really takes place between episodes 2 and 3. I'm like, they're squeezing a lot into a finite window.
But the cool thing that I like about this series is that it is going to overlap with Revenge of the Sith. So timeline from my knowledge is that the Siege of Mandalore is going on at the same time that Obi-Wan and Anakin are rescuing Palpatine from whatever the CIS ship is called. So there'll be some overlap.
And that's a good way to do it with multiple characters. You can have stories running side by side, and you can get a lot more episodes out of it. What is it like between 2 and 3? It's like 2 years or something, right? It's not that long.
It's true. And they've stuck a lot of 7 seasons worth of shit into it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? Like when do we hit the wall? I mean, not that I care. I think it's 10 more years. I'll suspend my disbelief.
So speaking of things that were only in it for a few minutes, Anakin's new character model looks pretty angry or angsty. Take your pick.
He did look a little different to my eye, yeah. I'm stoked for more. I actually like these Bad Batch squad guys. I actually do like them. I keep wanting to call him Ragnarok now. The Wrecker guy is a little over the top, but I still like him.
I'm interested to see where it's going. Like them having the friction with the regs, as they referred to it, was like interesting, but at the same time, it's like it's almost like a Dirty Dozen without the dozen.
Yeah, for sure.
I did like their highly unusual tactics.
They worked good as a team.
Clearly, I need to just float large chunks of metal in front of us and just have, I don't know, somebody run at them. Artemis or somebody just sprint at them behind it.
See, now you're thinking that's how you close range with those melee-only fighters.
Ideas are definitely forming here.
Just send Ragnarok first. When he can't make a game, I should just NPC him in just as a meat shield that goes around tearing people's pants off.
But ultimately, he himself gets pantsed.
By the Force. God, Christ must set off the internal alarms of every Inquisitor in the sector every time he does something. Because what do you roll, like a 45 on everything now?
No, it's only a 31.
You got a 40. What?
Only a 31.
It was a medical fix, I think, for that guy.
Oh,
it was a
yeah,
40?
I blew a 19 on the die on a bloody heal check of all things.
And then someone killed him anyway. Who shot him?
Hate it when that happens.
Probably Ira.
No, fuck. Who was it? It might have been Varen, because this was the false Varen mission, and Chad was on a fucking rampage.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Caught up with the imposter and cut both his ears off. I should check next session to see if Varen's still wearing those as a trophy.
No, he's going to freeze them in carbonite and put them in a tiny little trophy on his mantle. So.
Little carbonite brick by his bed. Yeah, I think we're pretty well done here. The first Clone Wars episode was fun, but not as much meat to it as Picard in retrospect.
They're only 22-minute episodes too, right? So
yeah,
it's like
exactly. And it'll be nice when we have we'll have weekly half-hour episodes. So we've got lots to talk about over the next several weeks.
Oh yeah, and like you mentioned, Juice, Castlevania's coming. I want to talk about that. Altered Carbon Season 2 is coming. I want to talk about that. So yeah, we got lots of stuff coming.